Hello, I'm Ms. Sharmistha Bhunia, Assistant Professor of English, Haldia Institute of Technology, and I have come again with a video lecture on business communication, which is organizational structure. Now, come to the introduction. Organizational structure defines how activities such as task allocation, coordination, and supervision are directed toward achieving organizational goals. It determines roles, responsibilities, communication flow, authority leadership within an organization. Now, what is the importance of organizational structure? There are various significances of organizational structure, and to name a few, the first one is roles and responsibilities. It certainly clarifies the roles and responsibilities of the organization. Two, it enhances communication and coordination between the employees and the groups. Three, it helps to improve operational efficiency within the organization. Four, it supports strategic objectives of the organization. Number five, it enables better decision making. Now, the types of organizational structure. Among the few types, there are 7 most important types, namely functional structure, divisional structure, matrix structure, team-based structure, network structure, hierarchical structure, and flat structure. Now I'm going to discuss each structure, what are their significances, pros and cons. The first one is functional structure. As you can identify from the diagram given that under the functional structure, groups of employees are structured into different departments by work specialization. Each department has a designated leader, highly experienced, and each employee are supervised under them. It implements a top-down decision-making process where department managers report to the upper management. In the given diagram, the upper management is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Under the Chief Executive Officer, there are several departments, namely marketing, production, sales, HR, finances, etc. Now, each department has a specific subhead who controls and who look after the employees working under that particular team. And together, all the subdivision heads, division head of marketing, production, sales, HR or finance, they directly report to the top manager who is the CEO. So it is very efficient and clear career paths within departments. But to talk about the cons of this structure, it may lead to silos and limited cross-functional communication. The meaning of silo is the isolation of each department from other, which leads to less communication and thus misinterpretation of some messages, or maybe some communication which lead to less efficiency. Moving on to the next structure, which is divisional structure. Now here, the company is divided into different business units that have complete control of their budget, resources, and strategy, acting as an independent company. Each division can have its own dedicated marketing, sales, products, and IT teams. Here in the diagram, you can see that the top divisional head, which is the CEO, top level head, he or she has allocated different sections: region A, region B, region C. Now, each section, region A, B, or C, they have their own departments, which is the HR, finance, research and development, sales, production. These work as independent. Now, these independent structures are operating as semi-autonomous unit. They have their own autonomy, but at the end of the day, they have to report to the divisional head, which is the head of the region A, and finally the management head, which is the CEO. It is mainly useful for large and diversified companies. If I give an example, the companies like KFC, McDonald's, and other such company which function in different countries, they have their own uh, independency in each section of the country or continent, where the specific area and the specific taste culture influences the specific marketing, sales and production. And that's how it is together working as an autonomous unit, and at the same time the main head office is operating all those subunits together, and finally the profit is counted as a unit. The next structure is the matrix structure. Now, matrix structure is a combination of functional and divisional structures where employees report to several managers at once. It allows for company-wide interaction and foster project delivery. It empowers employees to build and test skill sets outside their predetermined roles. That means here the product manager A and product manager B in the given diagram, they are simultaneously working under the marketing, the production, the sales, the HR and the finance. That means they are supposed to report to all these departments individually, and also they are supposed to work in unison with all the departments. So what is the functionality of this structure? It employs the managers of different function and project, which fosters and encourages collaboration. But it has certain cons, which is while working in unison, there may be a misinterpretation of messages, there may be some confusion. The fourth structure is team-based structure. Now, the team-based structure creates small teams focusing on delivering one product or service. These teams can solve problems and make decisions without bringing in third parties. Team members are responsible for managing their workload and have full control over the project. So here you can see in the diagram that the CEO has organized several managers: the product manager, the marketing manager, the HR manager, and under the managers, the manager heads will decide the project structure, the skill sets, the employees under that certain project, and thus they do not need any other third parties to control over their projects. Now, these structures are much flexible, dynamic, and definitely it fosters innovation. But it has certain cons too, which is it can blur lines of authority and responsibility because in this case there are several managers and often employees are confused which roles to take over, which order to take over. Next is the network structure. Now, a network structure is the act of joining the efforts of two or more organizations to deliver one product or service. Here, teams are built from full time employees as well as freelance specialists. Such approach allows companies to adapt to market changes and obtain the skills they need quickly. Here you can see in the diagram that the company core is the hub. Now it is joining various uh, organizations which are working together to deliver one single product. Now they can hire somebody from outside the organization and they can hire somebody on the efficiency and skill test. And also, these are connected to external entities like vendors or partners. Now, it focuses on core competencies and outsources the rest. Next is the hierarchical structure or hierarchical structure. In this structure, it is shaped like a pyramid. Now, it follows a direct chain of command from the top, who's the CEO, and flows down the organization chart through individual teams and entry level employees. The highest level executive has the most power and authority on the decision making process. This enables organizations to streamline business processes, develop career paths, and reduce conflicts. So here, the hierarchy means the position which is structured according to the roles they play and according to the importance of the certain position. Now, on the top is the board of directors, then the CEO, and then the different managers, the product manager, marketing manager, and so on so. Now, here in hierarchical structure, the authority is clearly defined and there is a clear chain of command from the executives to the bottom employees. The final structure is the flat structure. Now, this flat structure is a very simple horizontal structure used by small business and startups. In this structure, there are few middle managers between employees and top managers. The structure requires less supervision, increases employee involvement, and boosts trust in the workplace. So here, the decision making is decentralized and it has a wide span of control. Now, among all these types of structures, each company has to choose their own right structure and it depends on organizational goals, size, and strategy. And it needs support, communication, and decision making. And it must align with business environment and culture. And thus, how? By following and choosing the right structure, a company can certainly achieve its desired goal. That's all for today. Thank you.